My name is Ken Friend of Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you. These days
We're jumping the shark today. Because of lagging ratings on the neutral ground, we're taking the show to Hawaii like the Brady Bunch, trying to spike the ratings. We're going to Mayor LaToya Cantrell's next junket location. Even though you're saying that from La Jolla, California, I'd like to go there. There's a good junket location for you, Destroyer. Mayor Cantrell, La Jolla, outside of San Diego, first class. No, we are in New Orleans. It's not Happy Days reruns. It's not Milwaukee. It's not Drew Brees' palatial estate outside of San Diego in La Jolla. Or, as it looks on paper, La Jolla. La Jolla. Nope, we're doing it from New Orleans. Yeah, you're right. Maybe the greatest city on planet Earth. A ridiculous amount of dysfunction. It's definitely broken, New Orleans and Louisiana, but pretty darn great place in spite of all the dysfunction. In spite of, look to your left, look to your right, one of those people on either side of you, one of them sort of second rate, not really a winner. Sort of settles, has political issues, is some extreme lunatic leftist or a wacky right-winger, political zealot, always bringing you down, always bringing politics into the conversation. You know the type. No, we got too many of those folks. Love Edwin Edwards, love Bill Jefferson, Mark Morial, John Ilario, Jeff Landry. Ugh. Those types of folks. Yeah, Corey, how can you be mentioning extreme Republicans and extreme Democrats in the same sentence? Hey, ideology is the only difference. The playbook, exactly the same. Yeah, you right. It is a Fantasy Friday. Yeah, weekend's upon us. Not only is it a Fantasy Friday edition of the program, some pretty darn good weather rolling in our way over the next few days. I mean, by the way, today's pretty good. About 81 degrees right now. Humidity's not too bad. Feels like about 85 right now. Not bad. Tomorrow we'll wake up to mid-60s. Mid-60s in the AM, yes. And the high tomorrow, mid-70s. We will not reach 80 degrees tomorrow. Kaboom goes the dynamite. A super Sunday. Waking up to the high 50s on the South Shore, maybe high 40s. Some of you locals, some of you folks on the North Shore of New Orleans, could be high 40s when you wake up Sunday morning. And the high temperature on the South Shore, 72. You may not hit 70 on the North Shore. Could be like a 68, 69 high. Cheyenne, Mandeville, North Shore. Monday, we wake up again to high 50s on the South Shore, maybe high 40s on the North Shore. And we'll creep into the mid to high 70s by Monday. Tuesday, 60s in the morning. We might get to 80 degrees on Tuesday. Wednesday, kind of back up to 70s in the morning, but the high of only 80. I see over the next week and a half, 10 days, 80 is about the high temp. Low temp, high 50s South Shore, high 40s North Shore. Some, yeah, you right weather. And then it's sort of a rinse and repeat next week. We get another Coolio front, sort of a not heat and humidity, not cold front, but definitely a drop in temperature, a drop in humidity, just nicer weather like air conditioning outside. We get even a little bit more of it next weekend at this time. So a very enjoyable weather roller coaster. No, loving this. Some great weather on the horizon for about the next week and a half. What we're dealing with right now is about as hot as it's going to be for about the next 10 days starting tomorrow. How nice is that? Because it ain't too bad outside right now. No outdoor dining. Love that. One of those post-coronavirus silver linings. Outdoor dining, high-end restaurants, doing to-go orders, and even curbside delivery at some restaurants. Those three things, pretty non-existent in the great New Orleans restaurant world about 3 years ago. I mean, I often talk about New York and all their great restaurants. In Manhattan, what would you say about a good third? A good third of all Manhattan restaurants have outdoor dining? A third? I mean, hundreds of restaurants in Manhattan have outdoor dining. And I'd say they do it about 8 months out of the year, 9 months out of the year. They just shut it down when it's, 19 degrees and sleeting. If it's sunny and it's 45, there's outdoor dining in Manhattan. Sunny and 45, outdoor dining in Manhattan. No, I just always used to shake my head. I'm like, weather's one of our positives. Yes, we get a lot of rain down here, but it's usually quick, in and out, fast. We have pretty outstanding weather about 6, 7, 8 months out of the year. How don't we have more than a couple of dozen restaurants with outdoor dining? We do now. Hey, coming up in less than 10 minutes, Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. That's always brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant. Michael Hecht's going to join us, hopefully with some good economic news. Coming up in about 20 minutes, around 4:35, Fletcher Mackel, WDSU Channel 6 Sports. Get a quick one from him and see if he had anything good to eat lately. And find out about LSU, green wave off, Saints trying to get back to their winning ways. 5 o'clock power hour on a Friday. Tough to beat. Forget about the program. Tough to beat 5 o'clock on a Friday. Work week done, weekend in front of you. Give me a yeah, you right on that one. Frank Brightson will join us on this very program in about an hour. Frank Brightson from his restaurant in the 5 o'clock power hour. Right here is Oh So Fine, 93.9 FM. Make it one of your FM presets. 93.9 FM. Oh So Fine, 93.9. New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. Yes, you can check out the program on that FM signal as well, 107.9. 600 AM. I love this little sneaky, powerful AM signal from Baton Rouge to Pensacola, Florida, all up and down the I-10, I-12 corridor. Yeah, you right. CoreyTalks.com. Corey spelled K-A-A-R-E. CoreyTalks.com. Live streaming, audio, video, live streaming. Speaking of live streaming, we're on YouTube right now. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson, where every weekday afternoon from 4 to 6 o'clock, you're going to get the real deal, unfiltered. The agenda, you, worrying about you. I don't befriend the people I cover and talk about. I'm not friends with politicians. I'm fortunate. Serious, I'm not making this up. Got a lot of family and friends. I'm fortunate. Lots of family and friends. I acknowledge that I'm fortunate. Raised right, mother's still alive, brothers and sisters, all good people. I'm lucky. Lots of, like a dozen really tight friends. So no, I don't have to befriend the people I cover and break the number one rule in journalism. Yeah, don't befriend the people you're covering. What's the point of that? Seriously, do your job. My job is bringing it every day. The biggest stories, opinions on those stories, fact-based opinions. You never know. You can't go, Corey's liberal, he's going to think this. Corey's conservative, he's going to think this. You never know. You start thinking that way, and you might get yourself in trouble. No, pretty wide open. I like facts and information. I let them steer me in the direction I want to go, not any kind of ideology. Michael Hecht in a few minutes, Fletcher Mackel in about 20, Frank Brightson in the next hour, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. We're starting to get comfortable temperature-wise, but you still might need air conditioning or heat help. NOLAAC.com is all you need to know. NOLAAC.com. That's River City's Total Maintenance, Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys, air conditioning and heating experts that come right now when you need them. NOLAAC.com. That's all you need to know. NOLAAC.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you, right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Thanks so much for joining us every weekday, 4 to 6 o'clock. Radio, television, live streaming, YouTube. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Neutral Ground, with Corey Johnson. Boy, if Jerry Rice represents like the NFL wide receiver, he's like the poster boy. I don't know. For me, it would be like Dan Marino, maybe at quarterback. I guess a lot of people could argue several different QBs. Jim Brown at running back. Middle linebackers, Dick Butkus, huh? I mean, he's up there 1, 2, or 3, huh? All time. Just growing up, that was what the middle linebacker was. And really, that was before my time, and that was still what the middle linebacker was. Just like the legacy just lived on and on and on. Dick Butkus passing away at 80 years old. 80 years old. Sad story. Hey, some good news. As we know, we told you about it yesterday. Actually had on Steve Nelson from the Sewage and Water Board, the Deputy General Superintendent, the Army Corps of Engineers, New Orleans Homeland Security, the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, Jefferson Parish officials, Sewage and Water Board officials, all meeting yesterday. No, that sill, that underground levee, underwater levee, underwater wall, mound, whatever you want to call it, going across the bottom of the Mississippi River that the Army Corps built, it's working. They've been adding height to it. The salinity level south of the sill is much higher than north of the sill. The salt water is heavier than fresh water, so it sinks to the bottom of the river. And basically, this salt water is just getting, the salt part of the water is getting denser and denser. Any kind of fresh water floats up top and flows above the sill, flows south into the Gulf. But this saltwater wedge is kind of getting bogged down right now. Sort of stuck the last 10 days. And that's some great news. That's some fantastic news. Instead of maybe New Orleans and Jefferson Parish's East and West Bank main water intake facilities being either inoperable or greatly hindered, or external pipes and fresh water having to be piped in, we were looking at about a month away, 4 weeks away or so. Now, and coupled with 80, 90% chance of it happening, all of a sudden it's 10 weeks, not 4 weeks, but 10 weeks. And it's like maybe a 50-50 or less that it's going to happen now. So that's some absolutely fantastic news for the major population centers in New Orleans, Jefferson Parish proper, the Mississippi River. It wasn't, it didn't look like that was going to be about 4 weeks away. Oh boy, I see Michael Heck joining us from Greater New Orleans Inc. Miguel, what's up?
Hey, brother. Apologize for that. Having a crazy afternoon planning a dinner party for my wife's birthday, and
hey,
priorities, right?
Hey, let me give you some advice, Michael. Okay.
Yeah.
I got two things to say. A, you just blow stuff like that off, all right? Trust me on that. And B, by the way, just an incidental, I'm divorced.
We don't know if that's correlation or causation, though, Corey.
I'm just giving you some premises to a logical conclusion of, hey, Michael, do your thing and don't listen to Corey on that. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Busy week, but a lot of good stuff going on. We got a little bit of a reprieve on the salt water.
Boy, that's gigantic. I love that this sill is working. The salt water south of the sill is high. The level north of the sill is low. The Corps says basically no movement in about 10 days. We were looking at kind of the, potentially hitting the fan in about 4 weeks, Michael, bringing in this piping, trying to make it work. Now it's like, and by the way, 4 weeks with about a 80-90% chance of happening. Now it's about 10 weeks and a 50-50 at best. It may not happen at all. Great news yesterday.
No, it's good news, and I think more importantly, it now gives us a chance to kind of prepare, because this is going to happen again. And next time there's no excuse not to have an auxiliary pipeline set up or some other plan. I mean, my plan on this whole thing, Corey, was we've got the old river control structure up, outside St. Francisville that only gives us 70% of the river down here. The rest goes into the Atchafalaya. You should be able to titrate that as you need to give more water to one or the other basin. So, there are options here, and hopefully this gives us a way to make it work out.
No, I wonder what the effect to the Atchafalaya Basin would be for a month of getting 20% instead of 30. I'm just curious if it would be drastic, hurt the basin, wouldn't notice it because in 30 days it's right back to the regular flow. That's an interesting point.
Exactly. So anyway, but this time, we got a break, and I give a lot of credit to the folks at the Army Corps. They got in there, and they're doing some pretty, if you think about it, they're building this dam, in the Mississippi River while it's flowing, just basically out of borrow pit material. It's a pretty impressive thing they're doing. So I want to give a shout out to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
No, it's I was kind of trying to describe it yesterday. It's like fans storming the stage and there's a fence, but some fans need to get on the stage. So there's like a bend in the fence in the middle where they can get onto the stage. Like ships have to get through. So you can't have this levee that they hit. So there's a little notch that a little bit of the salt gets through, but all of the ships get through. It really seems to be working. Thank goodness salt water is heavier than fresh and not the other way around.
Yeah, and the salt water that does get over, because it's less concentrated, it's easier to flush it downriver. So the whole thing is kind of working, and, let's consider this a wake-up call. Hopefully while we still have the political energy to work on fixing it for the future right now.
Yep. Hey, Michael, a lot of that piping, I guess they were talking about, at least for the New Orleans side, that similar to that huge stuff on Claiborne, that big plastic piping material. Plastics are big in Louisiana, petroleum product. We do a lot of that, manufacturing from scratch to the finished product. A little expansion going on with a plastics company, right?
Yeah, this is one called MKS Plastics, and they're up in Tickfaw, actually, up in Tangipahoa, and they're going to be expanding now, growing, adding more jobs to a $14 million expansion of the facility. And, I got to say, there's a lot of good stuff that's going on up in Tangi. Robbie Miller, the president up there, has got a good thing going on, got a good team. It's kind of, one of the up-and-coming parishes in the entire state. And Hammond's got a great thing. Southeastern's got a fantastic new president, and Will Wainwright. So you love to see that combination of the universities and the downtowns, and then, a rock-solid kind of announcement like MKS Plastics, putting more money into their Tangi facility.
Kim Mulkey's hometown, Tickfaw. Gotta like that. Hey,
Also,
Michael.
Land Kenwood, home and
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Ann Kirkpatrick, looks like a foregone conclusion that she'll be the next chief. Crime has been going down under Woodfork and hopefully continues under Kirkpatrick. Something's working.
Well, crime fighting, I've learned by looking at the literature, is like your marketing budget, Corey. About half of it's working. You just never know which half. When you look at New York City and the reduction they had in crime back in the 90s, it's been studied deeply. They can still only explain about half of it: broken windows policing, cleaning up the open air drug bazaars. The rest of it is that, violence is kind of like a virus. Violence begets violence and peace begets peace. So you get into these good cycles for whatever reason. Maybe it was the summer heat. Who knows? And you do better. But we do know the police have done some things very specifically. They've been very focused on getting guns off the street. That's made a difference. The DA has been prosecuting these gun felonies in a stricter way. And so, you just keep doing everything and try to encourage the trend, knowing that you can only explain part of it. That's okay.
Michael Heck's with us from Greater New Orleans saying, no, Michael, I think we exaggerate, embellish the numbers. We think there are thousands of violent criminals. There's like 200 or 300. It's like the homeless thing. There are 550 homeless in Metro New Orleans, 550, not 5,000. Hey, real quick, we got about 30 seconds. Fill us in on some good wind news.
Well, I'm flying out tomorrow to go I'm being flown out by the Danish government to go meet with some Danish companies. They basically want to make sure the relationships are set. So when companies like Ørsted and Vestas come over here, they've got relationships with Louisiana manufacturers to build the structures.
Nice.
And that our schools are training. So it's actually happening.
Michoud, Avondale, both?
Michoud, we're doing it. Avondale, we're doing it. And we hope to be doing it at a number of other places.
Nice.
We've got Norway doing it down at Nunez and
nice.
Bernard Parish doing training. So, yeah, it's becoming all the South Shore.
Michael Hecht, always a pleasure. See you next week, brother.
Thank you, brother.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line. Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
It's an oldie but a goodie, but I love it. I embrace it. We were expecting Travers Mackley, wasn't available, so we had to settle for Fletcher.
Yep. The lesser of the two twins. There you go.
I love that old joke. I can use that one every 6 months. It's still fresh.
Yeah, I like mine. It's funny. If I see, like, today I was picking up lunch and at the place the guy was like, Travis, and I'm like actually Fletcher, and he's like, I knew you were one of the twins, and so I kind of like, I always like to say, yeah, but I see which one you like better, and people laugh, but I got to be careful because I can't. That's like a joke you can make one time. Like, it's like, okay, I can't do that joke.
Well, plus the best part of the whole thing is he said Travis.
Right? Yeah.
It's like, you're not correcting that part. You know, he means your brother. Yeah, right. No, exactly. That's great. I like that intro, and also other intros like, they dropped the 4 arson charges. He's free on bail. Fletcher McEljoint, things like that.
Yeah. And speaking of that, just circling back, I do love when I go, like, I mean, look, like you, my brother and I are born and raised here. We love it here. I know it's a beautifully messy place, but we love it here. And I always think it's funny, like, you can tell who, like, the hardcore New Orleanians are when I hear Travis and Fletcher. It's like a Travis in a Fletcher, not an ER. So I know I'm dealing with, like, you know, my people then.
Now, Fletch, you're on TV all the time. You're more known than I am in public in New Orleans. Can you sneak out in flip-flops, cutoffs, and a T-shirt to go get a gallon of milk, or you have to put on clothes, kind of?
I can assure you, I go out all the time in sneakers, flip-flops, and, like, dressed down. I mean, here's the thing, like, I'm a regular person, like, even my brother and I, look, we love our jobs. We had the, opportunity to be at a great TV station and on the news for 20 plus years here, and hope that we get 20 more and zero in on Margaret Orr's 45 years one day. But yeah, if people see me at the grocery and I've, got flip-flops and glasses and in rags on, it's just, that's because that's how normal people dress when they go to the grocery or to CVS to pick up something, So I am not about, like, oh, let me doll myself up or put my face on to go pick up toothpaste.
My favorite Corey story is walking through Lakeside Mall. I'm by myself. I see this guy and girl, closing in on me, approaching me. And the guy smiles and leans into the girl and starts saying something. I can tell he knows who I am. So as I'm, and I'm looking at them, they're looking at me, and as they get closer, I kind of nod. The guy goes, "Yeah, you're right, Corey," or something like that, positive. I said, "Hey, how y'all doing?" They go, "Good." I go, "Good. Y'all have a good day." He goes, "Yeah, y'all too." And then I hear him go, God, that guy's such a, and very derogatory. So I turn, I go, oh, I'm a blank, and say it back to him. And they say, no, I'm not really, you know, and then went into the apology thing. I'm telling you, Fletch, like my pulse did not raise. I wasn't upset. I actually cut him slack. I was like, dude, I get it. Like, I don't think that dude hates me or even thinks I'm what he told his wife. I think he sort of likes me and doesn't like me, and that's what came out. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said hello in the beginning. You know what I mean? I think it was just kind of comical, though, the derogatory thing that I clearly heard and then questioned him. And then he was, no, hands out. I'm sorry. I'm like, no, it's no big deal. And the wife was sort of embarrassed. I was like, oh, don't be embarrassed. It's all good. Anyway, have you heard, have you gotten any crap? Has anyone ripped you or said something derogatory or like, you said this about LSU, you were wrong? And like, you're like, it's easy, dude. It's about a game. Relax.
No, you know what? And I'll say this, and I think this is going to resonate with you too, that you are a little older than me. So you started working in media a little before I did. But I started working in media in the late 90s. I started working at WDSU in the early 2000s. And that was of a time and a place that you're right. That kind of stuff may have happened. Somebody may have like said something because you had a sports take they didn't like, or you had an opinion they didn't like. Now, I feel like that happens less and less because now people just go to social media where they feel like they're the king of the world and they just pop off on Twitter or Facebook or something like that.
Yeah.
That they don't need to say anything like to you if they disagree with you, because there's people who disagree with me, but I don't think people, I couldn't tell you the last time somebody came up and said, boy, I saw your hot take on that and I didn't like it. Now they just go to Twitter where they feel like they're the hero and pop off and that kind of, I guess, scratches that itch for them.
I like just some folks I almost don't understand like the venom. I mean, sometimes, it'll be like Jeff Duncan. He'll be like, yeah, the Saints are going to wear gold helmets this weekend or something. And then there's just people ripping Duncan. I'm just like, what did he do that caused this? I mean, it's like venom almost coming out. It's crazy.
It's one of those things, like, I love social media. Social media has changed the way our business operates, that, you know, like the way media works has changed because of social media. And I love the immediacy of it. I love the fact that it gives athletes we cover a platform that, you know, I like social media. But there are parts of it that I find frustrating and dark and inappropriate and just not worth my time.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, I am all for like people having a voice and sharing your opinions. It doesn't mean I have to pay attention to that opinion. And like, there's people like when you mentioned with Jeff, if I post something sports wise, it's, you know, the same type of situations from time. Jeff, sometimes, I don't know what, Jeff seems to get it more than anybody, but I do think we all, if we have a sports take, there's always people out there that want to, and it's always like, NOLA East who that, or like Zabra 27.
Oh, yeah, no, it's anonymous.
Like,
it's not Fred Smith, 114 Main Street at Elm. It's, you don't know where they are, who they are, male, female, your best friend, enemy. You have no clue.
That's what I mean. It's nameless, faceless people. So, like, sometimes people ask me, you know, like, I'll speak at, like, universities. Like, I went to Loyola, so I speak there a lot. And people will say, boy, like, I saw these people going at you on Twitter, and I'm like, really? I don't really pay attention to it. Like, again, and I think I've told you this before, or maybe I told somebody else on a show something similar, that, like, if Norman Francis came at me and said, I think you did this inappropriately, I would probably straighten up and go, oh my God, why does Norman Francis say that? Or if there was somebody that like is like an esteemed or respected person that comes at you saying, hey, I think this was crossing the line or inappropriate, or you went too far, or this take is crazy, and it's somebody that has amazing credibility, I may say, oh no, let me rethink that.
Of course.
But again, if it's some nameless, faceless person that just wants to be a troll, I really feel like that's not even worth the time of reading it.
No, you're right. Pre-social media, I've worked at places where the boss would tell me something and some salesperson would tell me something. I'd be like, yeah, the salesperson has a better take than the friggin' boss. I'm going to listen to them. That was better advice. No, you're right. It's where it's coming from. And social media, yeah, Dr. Norman Francis, I'm going to be concerned. Jimmy the Squirrel, I'm not going to be all that concerned about the criticism. You're totally right on the money. Hey, Fletch, real quick before we get into pure sports, the Tulane football machine means you work harder now. Seriously. Like, it's almost like there's another game for you to cover. You guys were always covering Tulane, Fletch. I'm not saying that. I just mean they're a viable, real program. A week from tonight, standalone, Friday night at Memphis, ESPN. They're a national football team now. They're not a national power, but they're a national football team. They're top 30, sometimes in the top 25. And it seems like that's where they're sort of staying. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And again, that's the kind of extra work you want in this business. That I like it when our teams are doing so well and all people want to do is talk about them, and people want more coverage on our TV station or our digital platforms. Like, that's what you want to cover when you get into this. Big games. I mean, those games last year were awesome. Once they started getting rolling, that regular season game against UCF, the regular season game against SMU on a Thursday night, the conference championship game was once in a lifetime, the Cotton Bowl. So again, is it more work than when they go 2-10 and we can kind of be like, yeah, we should, like, show their highlights off TV and just move on because LSU's good or the Saints are good or the Pelicans are rolling. But when everybody's doing well, it's great. And look, Tulane is, I mean, look, it's New Orleans' Division I university that plays football. I mean, look, UNO as well, and I love covering UNO and getting out there, but they don't play football. So, look, I love covering Tulane, and I've spent a lot of time out there the last 2 years. And yeah, look, next Friday night, they got a bye this week, and then it's for the two best teams in the American for what feels like the conference. You know, I mean, again, anything could happen. There's a lot of football left to be played, but these are the two teams that are the best teams thus far in the American in Tulane and Memphis.
Hey, about 15 seconds, 20 seconds. This is a must-win for LSU tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and it could be another shootout because good offense for Missouri, bad defense, same for LSU. I think LSU wins, but it could be a shootout.
No, right now, you know, it's LSU's what, 23rd? They're 3-2. Missouri's 5-0, 21st rank at Missouri. It's one of the biggest games in Missouri football history since they've joined the SEC for sure. So this is a giant game for them at home, and it's that crappy 11 a.m. start, which is just miserable. Saints are kind of in a must-win situation as well.
100%. LSU's not a must-win because, look, LSU's not going to the playoffs with 2 losses, but they could still maybe get to the SEC championship if they went out and beat Alabama.
Yes. Exactly.
But the Saints is a must-win. New England is awful. New England is terrible. The Saints' offense is broken. You cannot lose to that bad football team, period, end of story. It's a must-win game.
Yep, no doubt. Hey, Fletch, always a pleasure.
Sorry for talking so much life and not sports. Next week, maybe I'll get back to sports.
Well, I'm the one asking the questions. I kind of like it. See you next week.
All
right. Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa, and now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Yeah, you, right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. 5 o'clock power hour, just minutes away. Less than 30 minutes from Frank Brightson joining us live from his restaurant. I love doing that on a Friday. Love visiting with Frank Brightson. James Beard award-winning chef, nearly 40 years, one of the best restaurants in the country, Brightson's. And you'd think Frank's just getting started, like he owns a snowball stand or something. Just humble, sweet, nice guy. And boy, does he know food, knows cooking, loves New Orleans and Louisiana. As good as it gets. I love that winding down a Friday, 5 o'clock power hour segment with Frank Brightson joining us. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you already missed a lot. Michael Heck joined us to start things off. He's with Greater New Orleans Inc. That segment's always brought to you by Latrim. Latrim, the global manufacturing giant over there in Elmwood. Also a North Shore facility on I-12. They're hiring at both places. Go to latrim.com for a full listing of positions available. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, latrim.com. Yeah, Michael Heck from New Orleans Inc. joined us last hour. That's always brought to you by Latrim. Talking about the saltwater wedge and the good news there. Talking about crime going down by about 20%. Great news there. Talking about wind. Michael Heck going to Denmark, and not on some Latoya the Destroyer junket, but actually creating jobs, bringing money back to the city, securing wind manufacturing deals for Michoud and Avondale potentially, and even other sites he mentioned in and around the metro. It makes sense. Why just those two? It's like shipbuilding or building oil, gas structures. They're done all over. South Louisiana, not just like a couple of places. So I would think a lot of these yards, especially ones that aren't doing what they used to do or are shut down, could be reopened, and they're manufacturing wind turbines, wind blades for the turbines. So that's some great news. We'll keep up with Michael Hecht and find out about all of that. Fletcher Mackel joining us from Channel 6, talking about more work for Fletcher because Tulane's doing so well, and he loves it, loves that kind of work. And it was a magical end to the season last year. The run at the end of the season into the postseason, the conference championship, the Cotton Bowl win, the way it went down, just amazing. That Cotton Bowl was one of the greatest college football games I've ever watched in my life. And that Tulane season was historic last year. I would put that season personally, and I was around for both, bigger than the 98 undefeated season, bigger than the 1998 undefeated season. Last year, bigger. Major Bowl, Cotton Bowl. And Willie Fritz just seems to have built this program. And look what Duke's doing. Like the Tulane, the Dukes of the world, Vanderbilt's done it before, Stanford's done it before, even Northwestern, Cal. Why not? Tulane, they understand it. Cowan never got it. President Cowan never understood it. President Fitz, he gets it. He understands how sports can be a huge marketing tool. I mean, the University of Alabama, before Nick Saban, said, we're going to stop being like Alabama, like LSU. Seriously, we're going to stop being like Alabama, LSU, Auburn, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and actually focus on academics. Try to make academics something. Auburn doing the exact same thing. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU, not so much. Alabama went from about 18,000 students 30 years ago to over 40,000 today. They went from about 12 to maybe 15,000 fewer students than LSU to maybe 8 or 10,000 more than LSU now. And they have more national merit scholars than any public university in America. They give away the house. You're a national merit scholar? Come to Alabama for free. And then these people tend to stick around, like my niece from New Orleans who went to Alabama over LSU. I'll never forget. Yeah, me and a bunch of friends, we went to both campuses. Alabama, lots of new buildings and so clean. LSU, a lot of old buildings and kind of the campus was dirty. That's what an 18-year-old girl said. So take it for whatever it's worth. I take it for what it's worth. She went to Alabama. Now works for a Fortune 500 company in Birmingham, Alabama, my niece. So, different priorities. Then Saban came along about 10 years after this Alabama academic focus, and the football thing took it to this 40,000 plus enrollment in Tuscaloosa, cutting the ribbon on a new academic building every 75 days. Cutting the ribbon on a brand new academic building every 75 days. The University of Alabama campus, a bunch of cranes, bunch of construction sites all over the place. Just growing and growing and growing. No, at Tulane, Fitz, the president, gets it. Wow, football can grow enrollment, can grow donations, can grow the academic side, what we're here for, can grow the school. LSU, it's kind of the other way around. Academics are this beast. Athletics are this beast, and academics, it's like there was one. Easy, LSU people. Class of 91. Hey, relax. I could be talking about Rummel High School. I didn't even know they had a school. I thought it was sports only. They have academics at Rummel? Really? Oh, boy. It's not a shovel. It's not a backhoe. It's a huge industrial type crane or scoop digging a giant hole. I joke with you, Rummel Raiders, my brethren in the Catholic League. What's that, Blue Boy? Stop picking on Rummel and those other Catholic League schools from the good old days, you De La Salle Cavalier. I hear you, Blue Boy. What else? Folks should stick around. The 5 o'clock power hours next. Frank Brightson will join us and more. Blue Boy, you do an excellent job, buddy. Keep it up.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
So I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Barone in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans' grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Oh, there's our 5 o'clock whistle. There she blows. 5 o'clock whistle, a little bit after 5 o'clock on a Friday, a fantasy Friday, 5 o'clock powwow. 100% of the work week in the books. 100% of the weekend smack dab in front of you. I love the 5 o'clock whistle. I like this very time of the week. I even like the Flintstones. Yabba dabba do. Yeah, you're right, Mr. Drew Brees. It is, in fact, New Orleans, Louisiana. Hey, by the way, the 5 o'clock whistle appropriately brought to you by Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City. Doesn't get any more New Orleans than that. The quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant, corner Iberville and Talamacas, a few blocks behind Angelo Bracata's ice cream joint on Carrollton. In between Carrollton and Doc Francis Parkway, in between Bienville and Canal Street. Katie's, as good as it gets. Lunch, dinner, Monday through Saturday. Don't forget about Sunday brunch at Katie's in Mid-City. Check out LSU tomorrow morning at Katie's in Mid-City, 11 a.m. kickoff. Check out the Saints on Sundays at Katie's. And with this weather breaking, enjoy outdoor seating under the palm trees at Katie's in Mid-City. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Cha-ching. Yeah, you right. The weekend is upon us. And a great weather weekend plus Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Just some fantastic weather. Starting tomorrow, we will wake up. It'll be mid-60s on the South Shore when you wake up. Mid-60s. The high temperature tomorrow, 77. We will not even hit 80 degrees. What you're feeling right now, it's about 81 right now. This is as hot as you're going to feel for maybe the next week and a half, maybe longer. I see nothing on the horizon except low 80s over the next week and a half to 10 days. A few of those days, about 7 of the 10 days, 70s the highs. About 2 or 3, 80, 81 the high. So we're looking at just great weather. Tomorrow, mid-60s when you wake up, mid-70s the high. Sunday, high 50s on the South Shore when you wake up. High 50s Sunday morning on the South Shore when you wake up. You North Shore folks, it could be 48, 49, 50 degrees on Sunday morning. The high temperature on the South Shore Sunday is 72 degrees. You may not hit 70 on the North Shore Sunday. Monday, we again wake up to high 50s. We get into the mid-70s. On Tuesday, we wake up to the low 60s. We might hit 80. Wednesday, we might hit 80. Thursday, we get to the low 80s. But then it starts over again and even more intense. Saturday, Sunday of next week, expected to be in the 50s to start the day. So really good weather, especially the next 4 days straight. Should be a great weather weekend. Waking up cool and comfy, and we will not see 80 degrees until mid next week. 60s and 70s. Yeah, you right. Fired up about that, huh? Weekend coupled with great weather. Just ridiculously tough to beat. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on this Fantasy Friday edition of the program. 5 o'clock powwow on this Fantasy Friday, brought to you by Leidenheimer. Everywhere you go in New Orleans, if they're serving French bread, chances are it's Leidenheimer French bread. Leidenheimer Baking Company's into their third century, over 125 years. Late 1800s, the 1900s, now the 2000s. And for over 125 years, they've been baking that Leidenheimer French bread you love right here in the city of New Orleans. Still baking that French bread right here in the city of New Orleans. As New Orleans as it gets, good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread. Leidenheimer Baking Company. 5 o'clock powwow on this Friday afternoon, this Fantasy Friday, brought to you by Leidenheimer Baking Company. Loving this great weather. Loving it. Hey, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you already missed a lot. Michael Hecht joined us around 4:20 from Greater New Orleans Inc. We talked a little bit about lower crime rate, wind manufacturing, wind blade manufacturing coming to Metro New Orleans. A positive job outlook for the metro area over the next few years. And then the big news, this saltwater wedge basically stationary, sort of stalled at this underwater levee, this underwater wall, this sill that they've built, that they continue to increase its height. They've done salinity tests south of it, very high salinity levels. The wedge at its full impact. The north side of the sill, much less salinity in the water. So now the Corps has readjusted when they expect that salt water to get near, especially the New Orleans East Bank water intake and Jefferson Parish's East and West Bank water intakes. It was about 4 weeks away, maybe right before Halloween. Now, definitely after Thanksgiving, maybe right before Christmas. I mean, it went from like 4 weeks away to 10 weeks away, and maybe not happening at all. Maybe not happening at all. No, just huge news on that. Looks like the Jefferson Parish, Orleans Parish, these pipelines probably won't have to be built, won't have to be used. Jefferson Parish says they're going to have their rollout pipeline. They're going to continue their plan to have that ready. New Orleans says, I had the Sewage and Water Board Deputy General Superintendent Steve Nelson on the program yesterday. Got about half dozen sites around the country that have this huge 4-foot plastic pipe. The exact same pipe the Sewage and Water Board is familiar with right now. They're using it right now as we speak on Claiborne Avenue. It's 4-foot pipe diameter. They have a machine that cuts it. They have a machine that melts or, hooks two pieces together seamlessly. It's kind of incredible what they're doing at the Sewage and Water Board. They have old 48-inch water pipes, old pipes, breaks, cracks, all that. They're literally stretching this plastic 48-inch pipe, stretching it so it gets smaller than 48 inches. Inserting it inside of the existing 48-inch pipe, and then letting it expand back to regular shape. They're basically putting a stent into the water system in New Orleans, and it's genius. And if you've seen these machines at work, and I've seen them, I've pulled over and watched, and we've all seen the pipes if you've been down Claiborne, 4 feet in diameter. And the wall thickness, probably 4 inches, a good 4 inches, if not more thick, and plastic, and like a block long, and then longer once they melt them, connect them, adhere them together. It's amazing. Amazing. Stretching them and having them spread back open inside of the existing pipe really is genius. Anyway, that's what the Sewage and Water Board will be using to build their pipeline. They say they can get about 10 miles built in 30 days if needed. 10 miles built within 30 days. They have a half dozen facilities with miles of piping available to be delivered to the Metro New Orleans area within days to the Sewage and Water Board. So seems like Jefferson and New Orleans have their plans, and they seem pretty solid. We talked about with Michael Hecht about all of that, especially the good news that the Corps brought us yesterday. Fletcher Mackel joined us last hour, talking a little Tulane, a little Saints, little LSU. Hey, coming up in a few minutes, Frank Brightson, about 5 minutes away. We'll go to Uptown, the Riverbend section, Carrollton section, Dante Street. That little Creole cottage has been Brightson's restaurant for nearly 40 years. It's over a century old, that building. Wonderful restaurant. That Dante Street shopping center right on River Road, lots of lit, convenient parking. And I often say this, you old Jefferson, old Metairie folks, Brightson's is less than 5 minutes from where Causeway hits River Road. So however long it takes you to get to Causeway and River Road, after that, you're less than 5 minutes from Brightson's. So damn good. And priced right. For super high end, priced right. Frank Brightson's going to join us next. Hey, you cooking yourself? Best quality, best price, best selection. Your Rouse's Market. There's one in your neighborhood or right next door to your neighborhood. Heading home from work? You'll pass 2 or 3 Rouse's on the way. Tastes like home. Rouse's Markets.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 airy locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Fantastic weather starting tomorrow. It ain't so bad right now. It ain't so bad right now on Dante Street, about 50 feet off River Road, Leake Avenue. We're going to the River Bend in New Orleans, the Carrollton section of New Orleans, uptown. It's Brightson's Restaurant. Frank Brightson joins us again. How you doing, Frankie?
Doing great, Corey. I am.
You got that right.
Happy weekend, everybody.
How about this weather we got rolling in, Margaret Orr?
Oh, man, I can't wait. It's beautiful right now. It's a balmy 85. I actually put on my long sleeve chef's jacket tonight.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, and it's going to be waking up into the 60s, maybe even high 50s on Sunday morning. Absolutely incredible. Makes me want to get some of that chicken andouille gumbo.
Oh, baby, that's just the thing. We just made a batch today. Filet gumbo with chicken andouille. Chef Paul Perdome's andouille and Bell & Evans all-natural organic chicken. You can't beat it.
No, I mean, just hear that, folks. It's not just chicken and some andouille, chicken from anywhere. It's Bell & Evans, no hormones, air-chilled chicken, not chicken that's dipped in some kind of chlorine bath and some of the chicken absorbs that. Air-chilled, no hormones, normal-sized chicken, not 3-inch thick chicken breasts. Absolutely fantastic chicken. And then one of, Frank's mentors, Paul Prudhomme, and his andouille sausage. He's been making for decades, essentially, that recipe, right, Frank?
Oh, yeah. 40 years. I used to make it myself when I was at Cape Paul's. I remember when we got our first smoker, we started to make andouille and tasso and stuff like that right there. I used to do that myself. And we also use Chef Paul's filet powder, in fact.
Wow.
It's always fresh and very fragrant and bright green color. The thing about cooking is if you start with good ingredients, the best, you have a greater chance of success. And that goes down to everything, the spices, the vegetables, the proteins, everything. You'd be amazed.
No, that Warren LaRuth told me that a long time ago. He's just like, you start with good fish, you start with good meat. He goes, you have to overcook it to ruin it.
Yeah, exactly. I special order my own bay leaves. That's how picky I am. The stuff you buy commercially is just all broken up. It's months old, if not more. And so I buy from Penzeys Spices, these Turkish bay leaves. They're very, very fragrant. They have a lovely perfume, and they're all big. Everything counts.
What about the rice for the gumbo?
That's a good question, too. We use locally grown Louisiana rice. We use Jasmine brand, Jazzme, cayenne. It's like a popcorn rice. It's in the basmati family, and it's fragrant. Smells like a movie theater when you pop the lid on it. It smells like popcorn.
Wow. That's incredible. That's just the chicken and andouille gumbo at Brightson's.
It's a labor of love, man.
What are some of the ingredients in there, like seasonings and the like?
Well, actually, the seasonings are pretty basic. Not basic, but simple. Salt, all three peppers, black pepper, white pepper, cayenne, thyme leaves, and then the filet, garlic, of course, and that's the spice blend. Dark brown roux, of course, a rich chicken stock. We cook our onions, celery, and bell pepper in 2 stages. So the first stage is caramelized. The onions get brown and sweet. And then the second stage of onion, celery, and bell pepper is just kind of sauteed. So you have 1 stage for taste and 1 stage for texture.
Did the French come up with that holy trinity?
Well, this is the Louisiana version of the French mirepoix. In French cooking, the mirepoix is onion, celery, and carrots. And you'll find something like that in every cuisine. But in Louisiana, we don't really grow a lot of carrots, but we grow a lot of pepper. So we use onion, celery, and bell pepper.
I think it's a better call. I wouldn't mind a little sliced carrots too, but the peppers, that's a better.
Dishes I add carrots as well.
Yeah, but the peppers, if I had to choose, I think we're doing it better.
Yeah, I agree. And, those are aromatic vegetables. And to me, they are the foundation of good cooking because they add character to a dish, dimensions of flavor. It's not a prominent taste or anything like that. But to cook without onions or without celery and bell peppers, I just can't imagine. The food would be so flat tasting.
The onions I get, the peppers I get, even the carrots. The celery I'm a little confused on. Is that a lot of flavor you're getting out of that, or is that something that binds the other stuff, smooths the other stuff out? What's the celery point?
Oh, I think it's a definite flavor. I really am a big fan of celery, even celery seed. But it's definitely a taste. But again, it's a background taste. It's not something that's prominent. You couldn't tell there's celery in there unless you saw it. But it definitely adds another dimension.
We used to just sprinkle a little salt and eat the celery stalk.
Yeah, we used to do that. Back in the 60s, just put cheese whiz in there.
Oh, boy. Nice. That's a good idea. Hey, Frank.
That's a 60s snack.
I always learn something from you. You said in the gumbo black and white pepper. I always assumed or thought that white pepper was just a black pepper substitute when you didn't want the color.
Well, that does come into play, like with mashed potatoes, but it's a definitely a different sort of heat.
It makes sense.
It hits your palate in a different area. It hits you back in the upper part of your throat and even in your sinuses a little bit. So you're building a progression of sensation each time you eat something that has all 3 peppers.
No, I mean, I always thought what I told you, but right when you said both ingredients in the gumbo, I swear I'm going, Corey, one's a black pepper, one's white. They must have a slightly different flavor or do something different. They're different.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think white pepper has more of a subtle perfume and like a subtle heat. Black pepper sort of, you taste that right away, you feel it right away. And cayenne, of course, gives you the afterglow.
Yep.
So you're creating this progression of sensation, a progression of flavor. And I use 3 peppers in a lot of things.
Frank, anything fading off the menu, something new fading onto the menu, or I'll ask it another way, anything you better get right now because in a month or so it'll be gone. And then also, hey, in a month or 6 weeks from now, XYZ will be popping up on the menu.
Yeah, that's right. What I've noticed, crab meat has been really scarce. And I'm not sure, I've never seen it like this at this time of year. We're getting what we need, but it's every day is an adventure with it. So crab meat, I think, will be going away quicker than normal. Shrimp are running beautiful, man. We're getting 10-count white shrimp from the shrimp lot in Westwego. They're clear like glass. They're so fresh. And last night I was on Sauté. I must have sold 20 barbecue shrimp.
Yeah, how
so
could you not?
Beautiful, man.
How could you not? Such a good dish. That might be the best barbecue shrimp dish, example of that dish on planet Earth. What else are you using the shrimp for? Maybe the seafood platter?
Shrimp remoulade, absolutely. Janelle boils these shrimp each morning, and our remoulade is, of course, it's seasoned boiled shrimp with my Rex crab boil.
Yep.
And that's served with guacamole, a little chiffonade of iceberg lettuce, deviled eggs, and our remoulade sauce. Great way to start a Creole meal.
And you said my Rex crab boil. It literally is your Rex crab boil. Like, I can't go buy the exact one you're using, right?
No, it's not available retail.
It's a custom job. Plus, you're buying it by the dump truck load.
Yeah, it's a 50-pound case, and I usually buy 100 pounds at a time.
Wow.
I go out to a warehouse and pick it up. It's not easy to get, but it's what I love, so I make the extra effort.
Yep, and you have them tweak it a little bit for you. That's awesome. Hey, Frank, any openings tonight or tomorrow night at the restaurant?
Yes. It's kind of a soft weekend. There's definitely some openings for you. If you give Mona a call, she's on the phone now.
861-7610 is the number at Brightson's. Even if you're not going tonight, put the number in your phone right now. 861-7610. 861-7610. Marna's manning the phones. What is it, Tuesday through Saturday night, about 5 to 8:30, Frank?
That's exactly right.
And you're still doing to-go orders, right?
Absolutely. You can go on the website, look at the menu, or if you know what you want, just give us a call. We'll cook it, bag it up, and meet you at the front door.
861-7610. They've got space tonight and tomorrow night. It's a rarity. Take advantage of it. 861-7610 is the phone number at Brightson's. Frank, always a pleasure, brother.
Same here. Thank you, Corey. We love you, New Orleans. Have a beautiful weekend. Get your sweaters on.
Yeah, it's coming. You're right. Get the sleeves going. Thanks, Frank.
All right, man.
That's Frank Brigtson joining us live from his restaurant in the Riverbend, Brigtson's. 861-7610.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Did you have any problem with Angel Reese? There was a photo of her coming off the bus, holding the phone with the...
And that was a bunch of bull. That was Photoshop, that young lady. That's social media for you. How dare somebody do that?
No, I was wondering if it was Photoshopped or if it was real.
You just got the real answer from somebody who was there.
It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us to you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
You know, I'm very fortunate. The people I talk about, clients, advertisers on this program, are the best at what they do. And I never exaggerate or embellish or lie about any of it. Like when I say, oh, wow, you heard the Helm commercial. I was picking up supplies at Helm today. I wasn't. My guys were, though. Paint that I called in yesterday. A few gallons of Regal Select, my color. Got some of that gray porch paint. A quart of that. Just needed a quart of that. Didn't even need a gallon. Got a quart. Got a gallon of some primer that it matches the house paint, but it's a different, gloss. A different finish. Yeah, called it all in. I didn't even know the colors. I just asked them what I got last time, and they gave me the location, what it was. I was like, that's it. Ordered what I needed, called my guys, just said, guys, go over there. It'll be under Corey Johnson. The back door, the drive-through at the Helm Earhart location, about 5 minutes from where I live. Easy. Now, I could have said, hey, Helm, deliver it within 2 hours, and they would have done it at no charge. All you pay for is the paint, the supplies. Free 2-hour delivery, 7 locations in Metro New Orleans, including the West Bank, Mandeville, Hammond, all over. And check this out. Baton Rouge, 4 Helm Paint and Decorating locations in Baton Rouge. Free 2-hour delivery in Metro Baton Rouge. The legendary New Orleans paint store, Helm Paint and Decorating, for over 50 years serving the Crescent City, now in Baton Rouge as well. Yeah, you're right. Helm Paint and Decorating. They'll steer you in the right direction. Benjamin Moore products. How can you go wrong? The paint I got today, my guys picked up, lifetime warranty. Never paint again. No chipping, no fading, nothing. Lifetime warranty. Pennies on the dollar compared to that unnecessary paint that these so-called coating companies are using. It's called elastomeric paint. You can get it at Helm, a Benjamin Moore elastomeric that I promise you is a better quality product than that stuff those so-called coating companies are using. But if you go talk to any professional painter, don't take my word for it. Don't take Helm's word for it. Pull over on the side of the road. You see some crew painting a house. Ask them if they're using elastomeric paint, these so-called coatings. It's not a paint, it's a coating. No, it's not. It's a paint. It's elastomeric paint. It's revolutionary. No, it's not. Specially formulated for our area. No, it wasn't. It's all nonsense. First 4 letters in paint are pain. You tired of painting every year? Who makes up all this crap? You want to do it once, do it right, pennies on the dollar. Don't get ripped off by these so-called coating companies. It's a scam. You go to Helm Paint and Decorating, they'll take care of you. Honest folks, legitimate folks, you and me, locals. Joey Helm and his family, brothers and sisters. I love Helm Paint and Decorating. A no-brainer. No, it's nice. I'm lucky. I've been doing this 30 years. Some of these clients, Young's Dry Cleaning, they've been with me since the late 1990s. I've been talking about Young's Dry Cleaning for like 25 years. I don't know if there is a talk show, radio, TV host in the United States of America, in any market, that has been talking about certain clients and products for 25 years. I've got a handful of other clients for over a decade, 15, 20 years been talking about them. No, I'm lucky, I'm fortunate, but also these are the best at what they do in Metro New Orleans. So it's easy. I don't have to, hey, coldest beer in town or some crazy lines, or you go there and you're disappointed. I'm fortunate. I deal with the best. I know the best in New Orleans. I know they're consistent. I know if you go, you're going to get the best. So I can talk about these folks with confidence because they are the best at what they do. No, it's lucky, fortunate, blessed. Corey Johnson with you, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Michael Heck joined us last hour. We talked a little bit about the good news. The Army Corps giving us that update on that saltwater wedge, possibility of infiltrating the New Orleans, Jefferson Parish water system in a month, 10 weeks away now instead of 4 weeks away. And where a week ago it looked like 4 weeks away and about a 90% chance of happening, now it's 10 weeks away and maybe 50-50 at best. I'd say a better chance we don't ever get inundated with the salt than we do. I'd say a better chance that Jefferson and New Orleans don't have to run pipelines from north of their facilities coming down the Batcher to pump in fresh water from the river. Better chance we don't have to. No, that was great news yesterday. We spoke with Michael Heck from Greater New Orleans Inc. about that. Crime's down, violent crime like 20% in New Orleans. Concerted effort, Woodfork, Noan, Kirkpatrick. I think there still needs to be, Oliver Thomas came on the program early in the week. He wants to have like a summit with the mayor, the council, all her top officials, everyone get together for like a couple of days straight, like a conference room hotel downtown, have breakfast brought in, maybe go somewhere together for lunch, but be together the whole time, not for a few hours to get through it, get by, but to actually work together and maybe make some progress. I've been saying this for a long time. Rafael Goyeneche from the Metropolitan Crime Commission obviously agrees. A lot of folks do. Crime fighting in New Orleans, like anywhere in America, it's multifaceted. There are many different things. There's the NOPD. There's magistrates and judges. There's the DA. There's many things involved in all of this. If the NOPD, the police, the district attorney, Jason Williams, these magistrates and judges that come up with the bail amount, how much it's going to cost to get bonded out of jail, if everybody's not on the exact same page, it doesn't work. It's like one thing with many things that make it work. It's like a car. Maybe Jason Williams is the engine, the magistrates are the transmission, the judges are the body of the vehicle, the NOPD's the tires and the suspension and the axles. Whatever. If they're all not working together, it ain't going to work. It's not going to be worth a damn. And that has to be all on one page as well. Those folks all need to be on one page as well. And maybe that's happening more. Maybe these hyper woke, insane liberal judges in New Orleans, some of them, I mean, that, what's her name? Angel White or Angel Harris, whatever her name is. I mean, you go to her website, it still pulls up like when she was running for judge. And there's more about wrongly incarcerated people, too many people in jail. It's all about like criminals first. And I hear you. In Louisiana, we incarcerate more folks sometimes than anywhere in the world per capita. It's insane. These redneck country sheriffs that are millionaires because of jailing people, it's nuts. The for-profit jail system in Louisiana is insane. We've made some changes, minor offenses, things that are a waste of police time. We don't have time for that. Can't afford to do that. So I hear you. It's a balance. You don't just, hey man, it's all about the citizens. Screw the criminals, and you don't think about the criminals. You're a criminal. You went to jail. You deserve to be in jail. Doesn't just work like that. Sorry, jail's a tough environment. Not supposed to be a country club. Doesn't work like that. You have to have a incarceration system that isn't just caging people, that trying to reform, trying to educate. They come out better than when they went in, or it's a waste of time. It's a rotating, stupid system that just costs taxpayers money. So I'm all for the, wrongly incarcerated and all of that. That's secondary. And that's like this judge's primary thing to get elected. Citizens first. And I'm not one of those citizens first, forget about the criminals. No, remember the criminals, but they're second to the citizens. And these hyper woke liberal judges that live in this ideal world and not the real world, are a problem. Violent criminals shooting police, raping, mugging, murdering, shooting, and getting out on inexpensive, super low bail. It's crazy. Hundreds of dollars, a few grand, and you're out. So no, everybody's got to be on the exact same page. I think there is pressure on these woke judges to, hey, be a judge. Forget about your woke agenda first. Citizens first. Being a judge first. Be concerned about the criminals wrongly incarcerated or incarcerated too long or petty crime. Worry about that. Secondary. Focus on your gig. Focus on New Orleans. The task at hand. Curbing this violent crime problem in New Orleans. No, that has to be happening a little bit better. DA's got to be doing a better job. The NOPD, I talked with Dan Kirkpatrick last week about it. As many as possible jobs that civilians can do, free up the NOPD, the street cops, from doing this waste of time stuff, paperwork, sitting at a desk doing anything. Have human beings, citizens, do anything and everything that they can handle. You got meter maids with a badge, swear in some civilians with a badge. They're not NOPD fully, but they can operate helping the NOPD push paperwork and do things like that. Street cops need to be out on the street doing what they do best. Anything that is a bother to them, a hassle that keeps them off the street, paperwork, that type of stuff, take it away from them, pay civilians to do it. Because you can't just recruit cops to get yourself out of this. 900 cops are on the force right now, roughly. We need 1,500. You're going to have to get, of the 900, more of them on the street and less of them doing desk work, paperwork, crap like that. Citizens doing that. Corey Johnson with you, Fantasy Friday.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years. serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread. Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy Wrong for AsbestosMoneyGrab.com. This is not, I repeat, not for folks with real asbestos problems. But if you're like me and we're maybe taking a shop class in high school where you maybe breathed in some brake dust and you know for certain you're fine, but you're the type of person that takes advantage of these types of situations, get tested, lawyer up, and steal some money like me. Go to I'm not really hurt at all, but like exploiting the system for free cash.com.
Being a part of people's lives from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
You know, body language tells you a lot about what a person's thinking. For instance, that means she has an interest in the finer things in life.
The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
That means she also wants a little fun in her life, but only with the right man.
Corey Johnson.
Now she's pouring a Colt 45, and we all know what that means.
Yeah, you right.
Mind if I join you?
You must have read my mind.
Something like that.
The power of Colt 45. It works every time.
It is so true. It is the power of Colt 45 brand malt liquor. It truly does work every single time. The ultimate aphrodisiac. It is Colt 45 brand malt liquor. I love the verbiage of the spot. Yeah, something like that. I don't think that Lando Calrissian, a.k.a. Billy D. Williams, I don't think he got any girly action in the 70s. None. And neither did Wilt Chamberlain in the 60s. None. None. No girly action for Billy D. Williams. By the way, I have gone into a store before and popped open a Colt 45 brand malt liquor like no one in the store. Poured it over my head. 10 minutes later, I'm waking up half dressed and there's like 30 women grabbing on me. Like 30 women. They must hear the can popping. They must smell the aroma of the Colt 45 brand malt liquor. And they come, out of the woodwork, storming the doors of the store. And, I'm pouring this thing over my head. And the next thing I know, I'm on the floor, scantily dressed, and about 30 or 40 women just picking and grabbing on me. It's absolutely crazy. The power of Colt 45 brand malt liquor. It does work every single time. Wow. Malt liquor. I think Turbo Dog, Abita, Turbo Dog is, quote, malt liquor. I think when beer gets past, like, I forget what it is, 6, 7, 8% alcohol, it ceases being called beer and becomes malt liquor. Now, we think of malt, that was the whole charm of malt liquor. You drink less of it and get more hammered. Those little Mickey's things, those were so nasty. The little green barrel, horrible. But Turbo Dog, I think, is only malt liquor by name because the alcohol content after they brewed this beer wasn't like 6 point, it was like 9. And it had to be called, quote, malt liquor. I want to say like ice cream with butterfat content. When it reaches like 15, 18% butterfat, it ceases being ice cream and it becomes custard. I don't know if there's a major difference of ingredients in ice cream and custard, except for the percentage of butterfat, a greater percentage of butterfat. And I think when it's a greater percentage of alcohol, beer becomes named malt liquor. And in the Turbo Dog Abita case, it's a great beer that just happens to have a lot of alcohol, where in the Colt 45 brand malt liquor, it's terrible and just happens to have a lot of alcohol. It doesn't work every time. That was all fabrication, even from Billy D. Williams himself. Hey, every day this program on the radio, oh so fine, 93.9 FM. CoreyTalks.com live streaming. We're on YouTube every day, 4 to 6 o'clock. We're on TV, 4 to 5:30. Cox Channel 4, statewide. Spectrum Channel 333, statewide. Every day, it's always brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex, home of Lamarck Ford, home of Lamarck Lincoln. Lamarck Ford, #1 Ford dealership in the region. Lamarck Lincoln, #1 Lincoln dealership in the state. $50 million plus complex, all in the last few years, all brand new, all state of the art. Incredible facility, 15 plus acres on the car corner, Williams Boulevard and I-10 in Kennebra, right on the corner, right on the price. The Lamarck Automotive Complex out by the lake. And on the river side of the parish, Lamarck Crescent City Ford. That's right, Crescent City Ford, the legendary New Orleans Ford truck dealership on Jefferson Highway, now under the Lamarck umbrella. Every day on radio, on television, live streaming, on YouTube. It's always brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Elmwood on Jefferson Highway. You know, Ford, the only car they make, Ford or Lincoln, there's one car they make, the Mustang. You want a Mustang? You head out to the big store. But any other Ford or Lincoln vehicle, car, truck, SUV that you need service, repair, either dealership, including Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway, which might be more convenient to you folks in Old Jefferson, Uptown via River Road, that kind of thing. Elmwood area. You don't have to go out towards Kenner. You stay on the river side of the parish. Full service, everything. You want to get your Mustang picked up at Crescent City Ford, they'll arrange it. They'll bring it to your house. And you commercial customers looking for commercial vans, trucks, the inventory at Crescent City Ford is as good as it's ever been under the Lamarck umbrella. Kind of sad day for football fans. If Jerry Rice is like the NFL poster boy for wide receiver, you think NFL wide receiver, Jerry Rice. Maybe you think NFL quarterback. For me, it'd be like Dan Marino. For NFL running back, it might be Jim Brown, Barry Sanders. For middle linebacker, There's a pretty good chance it's going to be Dick Butkus. There's a pretty good chance it's going to be Dick Butkus. He died at 80. Top 1, 2, 3 all time. Just I love listening to the players of that era talk about him. Black and white. I mean, a bunch of the black players like insane. He's an animal. Just I mean, the stuff they're saying about Butkus. And then off the field, just a really nice guy. On the field, just cursing, grunting. What's that, Blue Boy? Barking. That's right, Blue Boy. Barking out signals, barking, cursing, popping everybody. Dick Butkus passing away at 80. Hey, New Orleans, have a great weekend. Great weather weekend. See you Monday in the middle of this
You're
great
on the
weather.
neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.